Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of me showing all the coloring books in my collection. I asked people what they were most interested in seeing. I put a poll on my Instagram page and that one went to the Coloring Heaven books, but people on YouTube seem to be more interested in either the books that I've purchased from Europe or the books that I purchased from Asia. So I decided to go with some of the books that I purchased from Europe. This is not all of them. I have enough of these that this is most likely going to be probably two or three videos of just European books. This first one, there's a couple singles, and then it is my Fabiana Attanasio fairy tale books, and then the Anastasia Koldareva books that I have. I will give the same disclaimer that I gave in the previous video, which is, one, I am an incredibly slow colorist, so I don't have as many pages colored as a lot of people do. And as I said before, it's not a race. Two, this past year I have colored even less because of life stuff. And I've actually purchased a lot of books in the past year. So especially like these books, I think were almost all purchased this past year. So yeah, so this pile especially, I don't have, I think I have like one page colored in them. Hopefully that gets changed soon. But so yeah, so let's go ahead and start the flip throughs. I did ask people whether they were more interested in me doing like quick flips or slow flips. And, you know, people kind of said, you know, books that are more common, you know, maybe quick flips of those. Books that are less common, you know, full flips. So these books I'm going to do full flips of. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So this video is not forever and a day long. The first book I have, and I actually recently got this, is, I'm going to pronounce it wrong. It's Zemlya Snova. It's a Tomislav Tomic book. I purchased this, I think, from Amazon France. I don't remember for sure, but I think this was Amazon France. I got this book. Or no, I take this back. I got this book on Etsy. I don't know, guys. But I do really love this book. This book's really pretty. He's got a couple books, and this one is my favorite, just as far as the designs in it. I haven't broken the spine in it, you can tell. So the spine's a bit tight. He's also done books for, like, not books, but he's done art for, like, other publishers. So I think one of the Game of Thrones books, so, like, if you like his style of art, there's 2 Game of Thrones coloring books out. I don't remember which one, but he did some of the art for one of those. And then also the Dune coloring book that came out, I want to say maybe a year or 2 ago. He did, I think, all the art in that one. Could be wrong, but I think it was all of it. So again, if you just really like his style, and maybe if you're a Dune fan, you'd like that book, or maybe if you just like his style and you don't really care, you know, about Dune, you just want to color his art, you might still like that book. It might be worth looking at. And those are books that are easier to come by. I've actually seen the Dune book a couple times on Book Outlet. But this one, I just really liked the subject matter in. And the paper in this is really nice. I think I had this book in a haul not too long ago. Some of these pages are, you know, his stuff's quite detailed, but I think it's still, you know, let's try to break that spine a little bit. It's not really wanting to break very well. It's nicely bound. It's sewn in, so. I like these with like the unicorns and stuff. That's beautiful. beautiful. There's a lot of really nice 2-page spreads in here. Quite a few pages in this book. I like that one with the giant rooster. The poor spine. All right, let's do the other one that I have a single of. This is From Holland with Love by Masja Berg. This book, I think, is out of print. I purchased this book secondhand. She might have this on her Etsy. I think it has. If she does, it has a different cover. This is hardcover. I used to have more of her books, but I actually got rid of them. Her art's beautiful, but a lot of it just wasn't for me. A lot of it is very kind of like these almost like mandala-y patterns. And that just wasn't, really what I wanted. But I've always really loved this book. There's something about it. I really like this picture. This is probably one of my favorites in the book. These are single-sided. They are perforated. Good paper. Not like the, I've definitely have felt thicker paper, but it's quality paper. I actually really like this. These like tiles, I think that could be really pretty. She does have a number of other books on her Etsy if you're interested in her art. And I think there might actually be one of her books available on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure. I'll look, and if I can find that, I will put a link in the description box. Otherwise, I will put a link to her Etsy. No matter what, I'll put a link to her Etsy in the description box. And these are little, little ones that you can cut out. Like little postcard type ones. That is From Holland with Love. All right, let's get into the Fabiana books. I have a number of these. Most of these I purchased secondhand. A couple of these have pages that have already been colored. They were not colored by me though, so I'm just going to preface that with that. The person who had these books, though, did a wonderful job in the coloring. This is Alice in Wonderland. Her books, you can get them. Some of her books are really, really hard to find. Some of them are easier to find in Italian, and I think some of them are easier to find in Spanish, and some of them are you can still get in English, and then others are nearly impossible to find in English. I believe the Alice one is one that you can still find in the English. The first section has a little bit of the story with some little pieces if you wanted to color those. And then it gets into the pages. If you've purchased Coloring Heaven or Mythographic, Fabiana has done work with both of them. So her style might look somewhat familiar. I always really like the way she draws faces. Out of all of them, I'd have to say that this one might be at the top of my list for favorites. My least favorite is probably the Jungle Book one, which I actually have the Jungle Book one, but I won't be showing it in this because it is, I purchased it with a bunch of these other ones, and it's still wrapped in the plastic, and I'm actually not going to keep it. I purchased that lot because I wanted these other books in it. So I'll pass the, I'll sell the Jungle Book one on to somebody who will enjoy it more than I would. And I didn't want to take it out of the plastic just to show it, so. I like that one a lot. I do love a flamingo. That's not my favorite, just kind of patterns. I am flipping these a little bit faster, trying not to linger because I don't want the video to be, an hour long. I'm also trying not to talk too much, so if you want it to be slowed down, you can always just, if you click the little cogwheel in the corner, you can slow it down or speed it up. So, yeah. These also come with these big fold-out posters. Some of the ones, because I purchased these secondhand, some of them have the posters and some of them don't have the posters. I honestly don't know if I would color these posters. These are gigantic. I'm not gonna, oh, this one's kind of dirty. Ew. I might actually take these posters, the ones I'm going to keep, I might take the posters out and give them to my great niece and nephew to color, just because they take up so much room in the book, you can see. So that was Alice in Wonderland. This one is Beauty and the Beast, and this, I believe, is in Italian. And so the, the images are going to be the exact same no matter what language you get it in. But the storybook part is in a different language. So if you don't really care about the storybook part, it's not going to bother you to get these in a language you don't speak. But if you really care about the storybook part, you probably are going to want it in whatever your native language is. See, this person had colored this, and this is gorgeous, the work they did. I did not do this. So they used, this looks like acrylic. So if you want to know if this will take it, it will. This looks like acrylic. I don't think it's watercolor. I think it's just acrylic. But it did, it did warp the page. But it took it. I mean, it did take it. If you hear water running in the background, you may or may not. I don't know how sensitive the microphone on my phone is. That would be my husband taking a shower. My room is, my art room is right next to our bathroom. So apologies in advance. That's kind of pretty. I like that. I like how that's framed. That's really pretty. Gotta love library. Also, if you like these, but you don't want to hunt down all these books, Coloring Heaven has an issue. I think it's like the Fairy Tales issue. that has a bunch of these from across her books in it. So that's like a good sampling. And I believe that book is still available. If it's not, you can probably find it secondhand easier than you can find some of these secondhand. This one is Cinderella, and I think that this one's also in Italian, which I believe Fabiana Attanasio is Italian. Don't quote me on that, but I think that she is. Yeah, she was born in Rome in 1895. Wow, 1985. Yeah. I really like this one. This has some great images in it, and Cinderella is one of my favorite fairy tales. So I was really excited when I found this one. Skip the page there. Hopefully I'm in frame and everything. I think my last video I was a little high with the books, so I'm trying to center them a little bit more this time around. You know, it's hard because I don't have like a permanent camera right here. I use my phone, and so obviously I don't just leave my phone up here all the time. I use my phone. So whenever I go to record a video, I have to set it up and everything, and stuff moves, so it's hard to it's hard to get it exact every time, unfortunately. I just love her, her style of art. I know I've said that, but when you're going through multiple books by the same illustrator, it's hard to come up with new things to say about each and every page. So all these books of fairy tales, she did Beauty and the Beast and Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan and some other ones. What's your favorite fairy tale? Is there one that, I think a lot of us grew up with fairy tales through Disney, maybe not through the original source. So, is there one of those that you really like? Is there one that is maybe lesser known that you really enjoy? I mean, if you watch, Cinderella, the cartoon, and then you go back and you read the original fairy tale, the original fairy tales were a bit on the darker side than the Disney versions of them. I'm a horror fan, so I kind of like some of the original ones too. That's really pretty. Double page spread. I like that a lot. Because I'm right-handed, I often have trouble, sometimes I will really love a picture that's on the left, but I have a really hard time choosing it to color because it's harder to color because the center of the book is here. I assume if you're left-handed, you might have the same feeling with coloring something on the right. Do you find that you gravitate, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, towards one side of the book or the other? I imagine if you're left-handed, it's really annoying, the books that are single-sided, because everything tends to be on the right-hand side of the book. I'm right-handed, but I'm surrounded by lefties. My husband's a lefty. My mother was a lefty. So that was the Cinderella one. This is the Peter Pan one. I actually have a couple pages marked in here that I had wanted to do, but I haven't gotten to yet. This one is English, and I believe this one is one that is relatively easy to find. I think that you can still find this on Amazon. Again, if I will try to find links for these and put them in the description box. So obviously, again, in keeping with the other books, there's the a bit of the story. Obviously, it's a abridged version. I do really like the Peter Pan one. It's not my favorite of all of them, yet at the same time, it has some of my favorite pictures, if that makes sense. I really like this one. And there's a Tinkerbell one in here that I really like. I'm not a big fan of that. I love this one. I love this picture. Just the look on her face, I think is so cute. I'm a little surprised I didn't have a thing in here marking this to color. I would have thought I did. I must have missed it when I went through this book last time. I kind of like some of these with these black backgrounds. It makes it so you don't have to, you know, think too hard about what you're going to do for the background. Oh, I had marked this one because I really liked this picture. I thought this was cute. I just like all their expressions, their faces. I like these, the way these are framed in. See, I'm not a big fan of this. This is like very like Zentangle-y. That's what it makes me think of. But if you like doing patterns, this got a lot of patterns in it. See, that's Zentangle, you know, a bit Zentangle-y, but I still like this. I just like the overall composition of it. I marked this one. I like this one a lot. And then this one does have the poster in the back, but it's still taped shut, so I'm not going to open that. I don't want it falling out. Okay, and then the next one is, this is The Wizard of Oz, and I believe this might be in Polish. I forgot about some of them being in Polish. This I got secondhand. Unfortunately, it had been, I think it had been cut a bit with a box cutter on the front of it. I really had wanted this one because, you know, in case you don't know, I live in Kansas. I was born in Kansas. I've lived here my entire life. I love Kansas. And as a Kansan, we are both required to love The Wizard of Oz and hate The Wizard of Oz. One is because I remember, this is such a kind of a tangent, but I remember being in school, anytime we'd go on like school trips to like different places, and people would find out you're from Kansas, the first thing they would say is something about The Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz or tornadoes. That was the two go-tos. And it got a little annoying. It got a little on the annoying side. But at the same time, you know, there's, you know, I like anything that mentions my state, so. This is pretty. I had marked this one. I really liked this, where she falls asleep in the poppy field. That's fun. I like that Toto's got the glasses on too. Speaking of Wizard of Oz, has anybody went and saw the Wicked movie yet? Or I think it might be streaming at this point. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime. I haven't seen it. I've seen I read the book, the Wicked book, which it's very different from the musical, by the way. So if you watch the musical and then think, oh, I can pick up the book and it will be the exact same, it's not. It's really not. I would say if you're going to read like the Wicked books by Gregory Maguire, there's a whole series of them. The first book, the Wicked book, is the best, in my opinion. Other people are going to disagree. You might love them all. You might hate them all. I don't know. I liked the first book when I read it, and I read it, 20 some years ago. The other books I didn't like. I didn't like them at all. But I actually saw the Wicked stage production on my honeymoon. So that was 2009. I saw it in London. It was amazing. It was an amazing production of it. And I guess, I don't know, there's something in me that I just don't want to see the movie version of it, because I wonder how different it's going to be from the stage production that I love. But if you've seen both, you know, do you think it's kind of, you know, if you loved the stage production, do you think that I would love the movie, or I think maybe not? I don't know. I'm sure eventually I'll see it. I love this. I love this picture. I don't know if I think, you know, this is supposed to be a 2-page spread. I don't really know if I would, although I don't think this would take that much work on this side, so maybe. But I love this. And that's the end of it. And then there's, you know, the fold out, which I'm not going to fold out because it's huge and you wouldn't be able to see all of it anyway. Okay, the last Fabiana Attanasio one I have is the Hansel and Gretel one, and I believe this one is in Italian. I think this one's pretty hard to find. Again, if I can find a link for it somewhere, I will put it in the description box. This, again, like I said, I got a bunch of these secondhand. I purchased them from the same person. And so, similar to the other ones, it has, you know, the bit of the story with some little things you could color. And then it gets into, you know, the main book here. I like these. It's got a little bit colored on it. I do really love the way that she frames in like portraits. Oh, skip the page. There we go. Try to break the spine a little bit. I think I said, you know, the paper in these is nice, and I showed you the one that had paint on it to show you kind of how much it can take. So, you know, obviously because they're double-sided, I wouldn't use alcohol markers unless you're willing to sacrifice the other side. I mean, that's up to you. Like this, like I don't particularly like that, so it wouldn't bother me to use alcohol markers on that page or, you know, this page. That's cute. If you like coloring food, there's a double page spread of it. There's her shoving the witch into the oven. This one didn't come with the pull-out poster. It does have this though, which I guess you could color. This is smooth though, so. It's supposed to have a poster. All of them are supposed to have a poster. Just because I bought some, you know, a lot of mine secondhand, they don't have the posters. Okay, so let's get into the Anastasia Elly Koldareva books. I have a lot of her books. One of these, actually, I just got. You will see this in a haul video that I'm probably going to do next week. This is one of the most recent books I bought. I found this secondhand on eBay. Her books, you know, her books tend to be quite expensive and you can't find all of them anymore. And this is one that I believe is really hard to find. I just love, and obviously I haven't had a chance to color in this. I love her faces. I just love them. And I like the very light grayscale that she does. She has such a variety in the people that she does. Like there's just so much, you know, emotion and feeling in her faces. Just absolutely beautiful. Oh, did I even say this is Blackbird Song? I don't think I said that. These pictures I think are dated 2021, so this is one of her older books. her books used to be, I think, a little bit easier to get, but she is Russian, so, you know, it's harder to get stuff at this point. I know that, I want to say Cool Craft Book on Etsy has a, you know, will oftentimes get her books. Whenever she has a new one, they'll usually get her new one at least. And I think they still have a couple of her books. So that's worth, you know, looking on Etsy, and I'll put a link to her store down there. And then I've had luck finding some of her books secondhand on eBay and Mercari. She also did, I want to say 1 or 2 issues with Coloring Heaven. I think one is like a mermaid issue, and another one is a like Flower Girls. I think you can still get at least one of those. They might be low stock though, I'm not sure. But it's worth looking at, and a lot of times Coloring Heaven books are easier to find secondhand if they're no longer in print. Or if they no longer have stock of them, if Coloring Heaven doesn't have them. All of her books come, you know, the same way. They're, I unfortunately don't have a ruler. I really need to start keeping a ruler over here. But if you want to compare this, like here's a standard, like Amazon printed book. You can tell it's a bit shorter and it's wider. And then they're spiral bound, which I love because it means that you can fold them and you don't have to worry about, you know, making a book flat. This is her newest book, which I had in a haul not too long ago. This is her Memories book. This one, you know, her books kind of, they tend to always have, she always has people, and then there's like something kind of around the person. She does have like an older book that I think is Dragons or something. This one was kind of a break from form. It was done in like a scrapbook style is what she said she wanted it to look like. So I thought it was really neat. I liked how, like, you know, if you don't want to color the flowers, you could probably just ignore them and do the portrait. Or you could do them at separate times, you know, or you could color it all together. This book I know that Cool Craft Books still has. And I actually, when I purchased this from her, it was dented stock, which made it cheaper. And honestly, the only dented part about it was up here, which if you can see, it has this little dent right here. It really doesn't affect anything. And I think the book ended up being like $10 cheaper or something. So I really recommend, if you're interested in this book and you want to save a little bit of money and that doesn't bother you, then, you know, opt for that one. I love that one. It's beautiful. And she also, you know, she also illustrates men, which, as I point to a woman, which, you know, sometimes people don't do as often. I love coloring portraits. It's my favorite thing to color. So her books are, you know, and I had a number of her books for a while, and I was very intimidated by them. And because they were so expensive, I was scared I was going to ruin them if I tried anything in them. And I finally did a page in one, which is coming up in one of these next ones. And I was actually pretty happy with it. And I do plan on getting back to them. But again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I just, you know, I'm a slow colorist. And this past year, I've had very little time to color. Very little time. But, you know, hopefully that is changing. So I'll make sure I'm not moving this too much. Like that with the bees and the honeycomb. I think this is the cover. Yeah, it is the cover. just laid out a little bit different. That's interesting how that's done. That is the end of that book, and that was Memories. And then we have Nocturns. Her books usually just, I don't think there's really ever anything kind of at the beginning. Like this is the belongs to page, but it's, you know, a full page. It's gorgeous. That kind of creeps me out a little bit, but otherwise I love that. Oh, she's beautiful. That's beautiful. She always has like very interesting, you know, hairstyles. She has some beautifully designed hair to color. That's beautiful. I love her grayscale. I like that one a lot. That might be one of my favorites of hers with the bats. This is an older book. These are all marked as 2019. The books don't have copyrights in them, so I just kind of have to go off of what she has marked on her art itself, because she initials it and then puts the year. Unless there might be, is there a copyright in the back? No, there's not. So it's most likely why each page has her signature on it. That's gorgeous. That's the cover. I like that kitty cat. And that is Nocturns. And then next we have Mysteria. This is the one I actually have a page done in. Miracle, Miracle. There is the title page. These are marked, I think, 2018. This one's got a little bit of coloring in it, but this is the one I finished. I think this is the only page I've done. What did I do right there? I think it's the only page I've done in any of her books, but I was relatively happy with it. My too much gene kicked in a little bit with the earrings, but I think I used, I'm pretty sure that I used Prismacolor for most of it, and then the background is very sloppily done watercolor, maybe. And then I used some glitter paint. I don't know if you can see that. I mean, I did this in 2023, in November of 2023. So you can kind of see where I did a glossy accent, I think, on that, and then this was paint, and this was gold paint. I was relatively happy with it. There's stuff I would do differently now if I were to recolor it. But you can see, you know, the page took the paint decently. Pencil worked really nicely on it. I think you could use about anything on these. And because they're single-sided, you could also use marker if you wanted to. Again, if I am flipping too fast or too slow for you, you can utilize the cog wheel on the video itself, and you can slow it down or speed it up. I often do that with videos that I watch. Gorgeous. This is beautiful. Is that the cover? No, it's not. Not even close. I really like this one a lot. That's the end of Mysteria. I've got a number of more. I've got, I think, most of her books aside from the dragon one. This is Serenity. This one came with a little sample to color. These are all dated 2020, so I would assume this book probably came out either in 2020 or 2021. This is definitely an artist for people who enjoy coloring portraits, enjoy coloring flowers or foliage of some kind, and even animals, because a number of her pages have animals of some sort. Like this has, you know, little fishies, little Nemos. I guess those are clownfish, I think. That one has a snake. Like I said before, her hairstyles are always very interesting, you know, very different. Praying mantis. She's kind of in the praying mantis pose. I think that's a raven. Raven or crow? Not sure which. Oh, Venus flytraps. That's gorgeous. And that is the end of Serenity. Next we have Amarantine. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that. I don't really have these books in any particular order, so they're not like in, you know, oldest to newest or newest to oldest or anything like that. These are dated 2021. That's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. I love the softness in her face. It's beautiful. Oh, this one has two people in it. Not the cover. I don't know why I keep thinking certain ones are the covers that aren't the covers at all. I really like this one. Again, as a Kansas girl, I like sunflowers. This one's got a dragon. If you like her dragons, she does have a book of all dragons. I think it was one of her original books. Pages sticking together. Very squeaky. was Amarantine. Not sure. Okay, next we have Mermaid Legends. These are dated 2019. I know this is one of our older books. And I know that some of these are in a Coloring Heaven issue. Not all of them, but some of them. It's kind of giving Ursula vibes. I like that. It's like she's sitting on a under the sea moon. That is an angry looking seal. See, this is kind of different from some of our other ones because it has this darker background, and this I think would be really cool to do in like neons and maybe some, you know, almost like luminescent paint. Yeah, this I feel like you could do a lot of really interesting things, different things with this picture, with that, you know, that background that she's kind of added, and how everything, like these are all in white. It's beautiful. These are books, you know, I said in my previous video that as I'm going through all of my books for these videos, I'm also kind of taking stock of, you know, some of these books I've had since I first started coloring, and they might no longer be my taste or what I am drawn to. And so I'm going to destash some of my books. You know, I feel like they serve their purpose. I, you know, would rather pass them on to somebody that's going to use them. I don't foresee myself ever getting rid of these books. Number one, because I love coloring portraits. It is my absolute favorite thing to color. These are all portraits in some version. And then also, just from a artistic standpoint, I love her art. So even if I have this book for 20 years and say I only get to half of them, I will still appreciate these books for what they are from an art standpoint. So these are books that I will not get rid of. I can't foresee the day that I would get rid of these books. I know they say never but... Okay, guys, we got two more. I had wanted to make this video not super long. I don't think I was that successful with it, but at the same time, I don't want to just show, you know, 5 books every video. So I don't know. I'll have to find a happy medium going on, continuing on with this. This is Ecliptica. This book, these are dated 2022. If this book is still available on Etsy, I will put a link to it. Like I said, if I can find any of these books, I will put links to them. I think that this one went out of stock for a while and I didn't buy it, and I regretted not buying it, and then it came back in stock and I bought it. So this might be one that, you know, they don't have necessarily all the time. This has definitely got a zodiac vibe to it. I can't say for sure what all of them are. Like I would say this is Gemini for twins, Cancer with the crab, Leo with the lion, and maybe that's Virgo. Virgo is usually, you know, typically just like a pretty girl with like flowers or something. There's one that has scales, and I can't remember, like, you know, Scales of Justice. I can't remember which one it is. That's pretty. That's kind of steampunky. So maybe they're not all supposed to be zodiac. I know some of them are supposed to be zodiac. I dig that hairstyle. That's fun. I do wonder if this was printed wrong, because this goes off the side here, and I feel like maybe it shouldn't. If you have this book, can you look and see, does your copy also go, does it also get cut off? Or is it more, is she moved over a little bit? Huh. Interesting. I love this one. I love the fabric on her. It's beautiful. I really like this one. I love this background. You know, she doesn't usually do kind of like big backgrounds like this, so I like this. It's beautiful. I don't know if it's supposed to be a ram, so maybe Aries. I would think Gemini again, just because the doubles, the twins. It's not the same lion picture, is it? No, it is not. That's that one and that's that one. That's beautiful. I love the profile. Like, I guess there's only so many things you can do for Leo, because it's Leo the lion, you know. I dig her hair. Like, it looks like a scorpion. That's fun. And that also has a little bit of a steampunky vibe with that strap that she has around her. So that is Ecliptica. And then we are on the last one, guys. So this is Listen to the Wind. I love this one. These are all dated 2023. This one I think has maybe I want to say it might have more men in it. Not more men than women, but it has more men than some of our other books have. This is the cover, and this is gorgeous. This is fun, like with the food and the candy and stuff. See, there's a dude underwater with, I think those are piranhas. I do love a naked cat, a little Sphinx cat. I think they're so cute. I know they're not for everybody, but I love them. It's got witchy vibes. That's fun. I love me a Medusa. I will say that every single time I see a Medusa picture. This would probably be the first one in here. When I finally get to this book, this will be the first one I color. I love her hair. This is kind of giving, even though she's holding, I think that's an iguana, the way that the hair is done, it kind of reminds me of Dracula from the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie from the 90s. He's giving me kind of like Jacob, like a more manly version of Jacob from Twilight, even though it's got like vampire bats in it. It's probably the hair. She's gorgeous. I have seen some people do some amazing things with this. They've turned her into like, oh, who was that did that? That turned her into like Pennywise. I keep wanting to say it was Claire from Color with Claire, but I could be incredibly wrong on that. But I've seen some people do some really cool things with this page. That's beautiful. I like that a lot. The bats hanging off of her hair. The snake. I like the background in this one. Again, you know, she doesn't usually do these like full black backgrounds, but this one, out of all the books I have of her, this one is probably my favorite or near the top of my favorites. I love this one. Very bridal, the veil. Okay, guys, that was it. You know, I have a lot of her books, but they are, like I said, they're my favorite just art-wise. Eventually I'll get to them, and if I don't, I don't. But yeah, so the next video that I'm going to do, I think I'm going to continue with the books from that I've either purchased from Europe or are from European artists. Because I have some Karolina Kubikowska books, some Kevin Teo, Mystic Art Mirrors, Mariola Budick. Now, whether or not I can fit all of those into one video, I don't know. But my next video, which will be out probably in a week, will be more books, like I said, from Europe. I'm also going to be doing a haul video that will be for January, and I hope to get that up in the next week as well. So please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great weekend and great upcoming week. Thank you.